Hi, thank you for tuning in. In this recording, I'm going to cover discernment. Discernment of the spirits, discernment within yourself, and how this is basically needed right now, at all times, really. So discernment is something, it's one of the, I like to call them initiations. It's one of our main initiations that we are going through, or you are going through, depending on where you're at in your path. Not everybody is going to deal with such an intense discernment, not an intense initiation. There are some people that will have to go through much harder type of initiations, and some people that will have it a lot easier than other people. The people that have it easier, that don't have to deal with any dark entities, any dark spirits, oftentimes they will judge the ones that do have to go through it, that do have this initiation. This does not make them better than you. This does not make you or us better than them. It just means basically they're at a different, their soul mission is just different than yours. And I know this because I've had to deal with this in my initiation phases. So anyways, what I'm talking about is coming up against dark entities, removing curses and spells and hexes, clearing the land, and how that comes about for each person. And depending on your gifts, this is going to come to you in different ways. This may come to some in dream state. This may come to some in visions. This may come to some in just a knowing and a feeling that you know that there's something there. Like I said before, the people that do not have to deal with dark entities, this is not for you, so you can probably just stop listening right now. But if you want to continue to listen, and if you're open to it, then go right ahead. So those of you that do have this type of initiation, I'm going to cover a couple of things here on how to discern and how this goes. So through this, you will notice if you are a seer or a feeler or a dreamer, however it comes to you, however your gifts work for you, you will notice that when you call in certain entities and certain energies like Mother Mary, the Archangel Michael, and whoever else that you are dealing with, there will be others riding on that wave. So and I'm talking about imposter spirits. These are imposter spirits that come along and ride upon the wave. So they try to basically piggyback or pretend that they are Mother Mary, or pretend that they are Jesus, and pretend that they are the Archangel Michael. And these are imposter spirits. So we don't want imposter spirits. So making sure that you're discerning, okay, am I actually talking to the organic, the authentically true Archangel Michael? Am I talking to that one? And always question. There's going to be times where you feel that you don't trust yourself. There's going to be times that you don't feel like you can trust your guidance. There's going to be times where, I am batshit crazy and I do not understand what's going on with me right now at this time. So all those are part of the initiation. It is all absolutely part of it. You're going to feel like you basically, you're going to going crazy and that you live in this other place. It's for us that deal with this. We're stepping into your multidimensionality. So this is all part of understanding how your multidimensional levels work for you. So you should be collapsing, as they like to say, different type of timelines. So sometimes one time you might be working with a lot of past lives and past life type of stuff, and maybe dealing with curses on a past life level. And then other times you could feel like you're working multidimensionally, like in your dream state, having to cast off and having to clear demonic energies. There could be times where you're living in false light and you feel that you are totally taken over and you just feel this, but it doesn't feel right. You feel this light, you're calling in this light, but something about it doesn't feel like that's false light. So, remembering and to recognize what is false light. Who are you dealing with on your multidimensional level? Are you dealing with the true, authentic one? Or are you dealing with confusing energy? God is not a confusing spirit. God will never give you an energy of confusion. So remember that if it is an energy of confusion, that is of demonic force. That is not of higher vibration. That is not of God. That is not of source. Whatever it is that you use the name of God. I use God. So God is never going to give you an energy of confusion. If you are confused, then you really need to take a look at that. Okay, this energy confusion, you remove it basically. So you're not confused. Also, as you're walking through your walk, you will notice that you come up against different types of levels. I like to look at it kind of like a video game. So you think about you're playing a video game, and at first, like, the levels are pretty easy, and as you go up your levels, you notice that there's other things that you have to pass. Maybe like let's talk about Mario Kart or Mario Brothers or something. So you're passing the levels, and then you have to fight with the evil forces, and then you have your team, and then you have your tools, and you have your tools that you're going to use to assist you into passing that level. So of course you're going to come up against your fears and your blocks in that way. And for many, this, like I said, this can come to you in so many ways. If you're somebody like me, it'll come to you in looking like a demonic entity, or it'll look like being literally took into a past life, like in a vortex. So, like, kind of what it feels like is like your body like being pulled into a whole different dimension, and then you're having to live out whatever it is that you need to learn at that time. And it could feel like it's hours, but it's like once you come back into your physical body, it's like, oh wow, that was just a dream. No, it wasn't a dream. You were actually clearing something out, clearing a dark energy out. So, and really recognizing that this is all training grounds, wherever you're at right now. So you could be like, one training ground could be like you're at at an apartment. I remember, I'm going to talk about my old apartment. So one time I was at an old apartment, there was portals everywhere. There was always like entities coming in, and I was always having to clear, close up the portals, cross over spirits, remove the hexes from the ground, remove everything. And it became so tiring. It was so exhausting that I was asked by the Archangel Michael that it was time for me to move. So basically my training was over, and then I needed to move out of there. So basically, like, you kind of get the idea of that, where you can see, okay, well, that's one level of initiation, and not everybody has to go through that. I'm just saying, and I'm speaking from my experience. I'm speaking from the experience that I work with some really good friends of mine, and also from clients that I assist along the way. So my team that I work with, we usually go through a lot of things together. Like, so if I'm going through something, my best friend, she's going to go through it with me. And we go through these multidimensional levels, kind of side by side, simultaneously. And we do that a lot. And I also do it with my twin flame. So if you are part of that team, and I don't want to put labels on it, but if you're a part of that initiation group, and learning how to discern the spirits, and always questioning yourself, and questioning yourself is a part of it. So if you're like, oh, I can't trust my guidance, I don't know how to trust my guidance, it must be so easy for these other people to get this type of information, and me, it's so hard. No, it's not easy for people to always get it. And if they are getting it, you should question where their source is coming from. If they haven't had to go through some of the initiation phases, not everybody has to, and that's great. Like, they're blessed. It's amazing. And they still get their and they still get their downloads and stuff like that. But, really discern within yourself what is right for you, and how that is, how it sits with you. So everything we should be using our discernment. Everything you should be questioning. You should be questioning your guidance. You should be questioning the source and the information where it comes from. You should be questioning if there's false truth in there. You should ask God, okay, is this from you? Or, is this something that's going to trip me up? If you are facing any spiritual attack as far as unworthiness, self-pity, those are all like demonic influences, and you can also receive attachments from those. Also, if you have the gift of seeing and you see when an attachment is attached to a friend or a loved one, sometimes that can come into the relationship and kind of taint that. And that's what these demonic or entities want. They want to tear things apart. They want to get you alone. And a lot of the times, people like us that have these type of attacks, our lights are so incredibly bright that they want to use a lot of these energies to cloak themselves with. So they use them to cloak themselves with the light. So they use your light or whoever's gifts, and they use it to cloak themselves. And a sort of like invisibility type of thing. So knowing how to remove the invisibility cords, knowing how to do all of that type of stuff, removing the entities, removing implants, scanning your body for implants, it's so important. It's so important to have discernment of the spirits. And if you are going through an initiation of discernment of the spirits, hang in there, do not give up. It's going to feel like you can't do it. You're going to feel so freaking tired. You're going to feel like your energy has been zapped or sucked out of you. In some way it kind of is, just depending on the intensity of your initiation. I know some people that have ended up like in basically crazy house because of it. So I passed with lots of colors. And anyways, it's not easy. So if you do need somebody to help you and assist you through that initiation phase, call me. I'm your girl. I've been there, and I know what it's like for some people not to believe you, to feel that you're crazy, to feel that what you see, what you know, what you experience is just like crazy. Twin flames is another thing. I basically started off with this. I started off at a very young age with dark entities, curses attached to me, removing those, and having to really cleanse the energy. So as a young child, and then moving up into my adulthood and shutting down my gifts, and then my gifts having no place to go other than being wide open and everything bombarding me at the same time. And I'm sure that some of you can relate to that in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I will be sharing more of my journey in my intensive this month, more of my story. So if you would like to be part of this month, let me know. There's 2 different payment options. Yeah, I'd love to have you on. Thank you. Bye.